Last one, I'll quickly just talk about The Fire Inside. This is the feature-length directorial debut from Rachel Morrison, very celebrated cinematographer. Also the cinematographer for Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't know. And she, really made her name for the cinematography a few years ago from Mudbound. She became, I
Yeah.
believe, the first woman to be nominated as a cinematographer in that category when Mudbound came out. So she made history, again, nominated for Black Panther. So she's now stepping up behind the directorial chair, and made this movie, The Fire Inside, which stars Ryan Destiny and Brian Tyree Henry. This is based on a true story. It's following the early boxing career of Claressa Shields, a fighter from Flint, Michigan, who ultimately competed at the 2012 Summer Olympics in boxing. And we just follow her journey, the hard, difficult journey that she had coming from Flint, Michigan, which, historically has not been a place known to have a ton of resources, a ton of opportunity. Really, she's coming from probably the worst conditions, living in, definitely like very challenging circumstances, pretty much the sole caregiver and person that takes care of her family, her younger brothers and siblings, her mother. Like she is like the rock, the glue of everything, while still trying to follow this career of being a boxer and go to the Olympics and ultimately win the gold medal. And Brian Tyree Henry plays her coach, Jason Crutchfield, who basically gets her ready for the Summer Olympics. And it's a solid movie. I think it's a solid movie. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Destiny, she's really, really terrific in this movie. Her and
Mm-hmm.
Brian Tyree Henry together, they just work. That's what this movie rests on, is their connection, their emotional scenes together, the differences and agreements that they have, just that tumultuous journey that they go on. And I like the structure of the movie because you get to a place of like, okay, she wins the gold medal, and that's not a spoiler. This is like actual history. But then the
Right.
aftermath of that is really the most interesting part of the movie. Like what happens after she wins the gold medal. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not what you think is going to happen. You think that there's going to be fame and fortune and endorsements and all sorts of things that she'll get. That's not the case. This is a black woman
Mm-hmm.
in boxing. Typically, women in boxing in general don't get that type of shine and praise. And so, like,
Right.
what was it like to deal with that post winning a gold medal when historically, if you win a gold medal, you kind of become an overnight sensation, but you learn a lot
Yeah.
about the structure of the Olympics and the history and just some of the real lopsided politics and things that go on, the sexist nature of just things that play out and not only boxing but a lot of the sports that compete at the Olympics. And so that stuff was the most compelling to me, to just see that journey that she went on, and just to see her background from Flint and ultimately how she was able to overcome those circumstances and go on to be a really, really celebrated and decorated boxer later on in her career. So it's a solid movie. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, man. Clarissa Shields, what a beast of a person. She's like a year younger than me. She's like 29, I think it is. But this movie's so interesting. Of course, Ryan Destiny, Brian Tyree Henry is interesting. But there's like another piece of this where, like, you just said Rachel Morrison did Black Panther. I'm pretty sure she did Fruitvale Station too. I'm like, oh, you're a freaking Ryan Coogler collaborator, and he goes into his creed, and you're like, I want a boxing movie. That's what it felt like just when I thought about it. She's like, I want to do a boxing movie too. And then she makes The Fire. Rachel Morrison does The Fire Inside. But yeah, I've been pretty interested to watching this film. I love everybody behind it: Barry Jenkins, Rachel Morrison, Ryan Destiny, Brian Tyree Henry. It's just like, I feel like this is a movie that I would like. It's boxing. I love boxing movies. So yeah, still can't wait to check it out. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
This is the Barry Jenkins movie that people should go watch. I'll just leave that there.